Hi everyone, I'm Riya Mittal from SellerApp, and I'm here to make sourcing easy for you. Welcome to our webinar to begin with, and I hope everyone's having a great Q4. And this webinar is specially curated for sellers who are planning to first expand their business if you're looking for more products and if you want to source it. And second, if you're a new Amazon seller, welcome, and we are here to make sourcing easy for you. Let's make the session interactive, yeah, because I'm sure that all of you are bored of, just me talking or our speakers talking. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and you can answer them in our chat box here. So first, hello, hi everyone, and where are you from? So let me know where you're watching from and how long have you been selling on Amazon? So before I introduce the speaker, I just want to let you all know how SellerApp has collaborated with Alibaba. So as you all know, SellerApp is always looking for ways to make sure that Amazon sellers have a really smooth and eventful journey on Amazon, because most of the tools out there, especially sourcing tools or any tools out there actually, are not user-friendly. So what SellerApp does is we have weekly calls with all our clients, and we make sure that our tools are first used by them, and then we make it available for you all out there. So that makes our tool made by sellers for you sellers. Let me just tell you how SellerApp actually collaborated with Alibaba. So SellerApp already has tools like product ideas. We have sales estimator for your products. So the only thing we were missing was sales sourcing. I mean, we were missing sourcing. And we wanted to collaborate with someone who understands how difficult sourcing can be for people. And Alibaba, as you know, leads the market when it comes to sourcing. So we were like, let's reach out to Alibaba and see if they would want to partner with us. And they did, because we both share the same values, which is making your Amazon journey easy. And we also wanted to make sure that these tools are free for you sellers out there, because there are a lot of costs associated with the Amazon journey. And we at SellerApp are always looking to make your journey a little bit easier. So I see that the comment section is already brightening up. So that's amazing. All right, so now it's time for me to introduce our sellers, our speakers. So to begin with, we have Brij. Brij is the co-founder of SellerApp, and with innovation and proprietary software, Brij aims to promote the long-term growth from SellerApp's mainstream customers. He also oversees the company's product strategy, including the tech, design, and engineering. So he's the brain behind most of the things that goes out in SellerApp, and this is the reason why our platform is so user-friendly. So let's welcome Brij, everyone. Hi, Brij.
Hey, Ria. How are you doing? Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so for our next guest, we have John Paul. He goes by the name JP, so I'm going to refer to him as JP throughout the session. So he leads North America's logistics service and development at Alibaba. He has decades of experience working with small to medium-sized businesses in the US and UK and South Africa in sectors ranging from e-commerce, risk consulting, and freight logistics. Prior to joining Alibaba, JP worked at Flexport, the fastest growing company in freight technology, and he focused on freight pricing and freight operations there. So let's welcome JP, everyone. Hi, JP. Good morning.
Hi, Ria. Hi, Brij. Good to be with you.
Yeah, so let's begin our session by talking about how sourcing is going to be different for 2021. So as we know, COVID has disrupted a lot of things on Amazon, and sourcing is something that sellers are looking out right now in this time. So most of the sellers hopefully have already started their sourcing journey, but most of the sellers have not. So why don't you guys tell me? So people who are watching right now, have you already started sourcing your products, or are you starting your sourcing journey? So let us know in the comment section below. So JP, what according to you is sourcing going to look like in 2021? Is it going to be tougher? Is it going to be the same? Or, I mean, SellerApp and Alibaba has made it quite easy for them already. But what according to you is the future of sourcing?
I think one thing for folks who are looking to source in 2021 that will be really important is think about how you're making the right decisions in your logistics and supply chain network. What we saw in 2020 is a lot of demand for both air and ocean logistics services for cross-border orders. So for anyone who's a small to medium-sized business that is importing from other countries, you need to be able to kind of understand how to better enhance and make your supply chain a lot more resilient, especially as we move into 2021.
Yep. And Brij, what according to you is 2021 in terms of sourcing is going to look like?
Sure. I align to what JP mentioned, right? So if you look at 2020 was mostly COVID and the situations out there, right? So if you look at most of the part of the year is people have not done the businesses and have not sourced that much, right? So obviously these things will impact. And now the businesses has, if you look at the last quarter, the growth and in the e-commerce as such, right? And the people have started sourcing. So obviously these trends will pick up, and there are certain categories. If you look at, let's say, sports and outdoors, right, and electronics. So these will be definitely the categories, and definitely your health and dietary supplements, right? So these will be the categories which where we will see a lot of growth overall in terms of businesses and new sellers and the new sourcing options coming.
Yeah, and I liked when you mentioned that supplements and dietaries are, at a hike right now, which only makes sense given our current situation. But Amazon is also very adamant on making this specific category. Like, I remember, reading an article that said that Amazon is asking for certificates now from people who are selling supplements online. So you have to start approaching laboratories and making sure that you have the supplements if you're selling in that category. Just a caution out there. All right. So, for those of you watching right now, what makes this webinar different from the webinars that you have attended on sourcing is because we back everything by data and technology. So, this is a webinar where we're not just going to give you our teachings, or we're not going to tell you, like, you should do this, you should do that. But this webinar is going to back up everything by data and technology. So, this is like a no, I'm sorry for the profanity, but this is like a no bullshit seminar. So you have to take this seriously right now. Okay, so both Brij and JP have presentations ready for us, and that will help you understand what they're talking about better. And obviously, the chat section is always open for you all. So if you have any more questions, if you have any doubts in the middle, leave all your doubts here, and we will take care of it later in the segment. So in this 45 minutes, we are going to aim at one thing and one thing only. It's going to be sourcing and how sourcing can be made easy for you in 2021. So to begin with, as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about data and technology, and that's why we have Brij here. His brain is like a master computer. All the numbers are just there. So we're just going to start with there, and then JP is going to help you understand how to grow your business using Alibaba. So Brij, starting with you, let's start with your presentation.
Sure. So whatever Ria told, right? So part of it is true that I comes from the technology and the product background, but it's not that it's just me who drive things, right? So it's mostly the customers and the feedback which we get from you guys. So that's what keeps us motivated, and that's where we bring in a lot of the pain points which we understand while talking to you guys, right? And that's what converted into the features and again iteration from the feedbacks and these things. It becomes a product which is usable and it's helping you guys to scale up the businesses, right? So
yes,
if you look at Ria told about our association with Alibaba and all, right? So if you think of sourcing is a piece of a puzzle when you start selling, right? And it's one of the key ingredient which you have to do right. Otherwise, there is very less chance for you to be successful, right? So and definitely we always been in the other part of our spectrum where we always help seller to optimize to scale their businesses, to understand the competition, right? What can be done to get a better ROIs in terms of ads, right? How to optimize, let's say, their inventory or their storage fees and these sites, right? So when Alibaba, when we interacted with the Alibaba, so we found definitely the one common synergy, that was our customer base is same, right? And we both works towards making sure that the customer whom we are serving are happy, right? And they are successful. That's what cemented our partnership, and that's where we have grown, and we have come up with a feature, and it's kind of a product release webinar where we will walk you through what we have, how it is better, how it helps to the seller, right? And how it's helped them to save time and make sure that the customers which we are using and serving are successful. So let me just quickly walk you through the presentation which we have. It's more about SellerApp and probably a couple of slides, and then we can move to giving the demos. I know you guys will have a lot of questions and the doubts on the way, so feel free to drop in the messages I know JP is the right person to talk more about the sourcing, but I also have a couple of questions to the JP. When I was looking at and researching about this topic, that how the cycle before you enter into the Amazon space works, right? And it's completely, I would say there are a lot of questions. It's equally complex in terms of functionality, the way other part of the business works, right? So when you start selling on the Amazon. So let me know if you can see my screen. Ria, is it getting presented now?
Yes, it's getting presented. I'm waiting for your presentation to come there.
Sure.
Okay, there we go. Whenever you're ready, I will present.
Perfect. So I think you can share it now.
Okay, here we go.
Sure. Okay, it's just loading. Yeah, you guys can see it. So it's more about, we will talk about it, how sourcing can be simplified using the technology, right? And the data which we have. Definitely, I know Alibaba will have a lot more data, but how additional edge seller app brings to that sourcing piece, right? And how we complete that flywheel where you say that you start from the sourcing, then you goes to your listing optimization, and then again, feedback that loop back to the sourcing part, right? So this is me, what Ria explained, that I comes from the tech and the product background, and it's mostly the customers and the feedback which we collect help me to build up things, right? So as in Seller App, what core we have inside is that we work towards the growth of our customers, and this is our mission, that we want to make sure that our sellers are successful. It means that you guys are successful. And while in this process, there are a lot of things in terms of, you can call it intelligence of the data or the analytics, which pumps in or which feeds into this your success, right? So whether it's finding the right product to sell, or the quality of the keywords, your listing optimization, your PPC optimization, right? And it also involves consultations, helping you or hand holding you to walk through this path to find out the problems you have and how it can be solved, right? How technology can solve all of that. Right. And if you look at majorly, it's broken down into three different segments. The business strategy part before you start the product, like what you want to sell, how much competition it is, how you can source those things, right? So that falls into your business strategy, the data intelligence, and all of that. The marketing piece mostly involves when you start selling it, how you can get the better ROIs in terms of the dollars which you spend, right? Or what is required in terms of your listings or the optimization part of it, how you can make sure that your storage fees are optimized, you are not out of inventory, you are getting the constant reviews. All of that is a part of your marketing bucket. And then online marketplace ops. So what we have seen in the past is we work with sellers. There are a lot of things which they are good at, and there are a lot of things which they want someone to help them, right? So that's where ad management comes into picture, where there is a lot of automation goes in. There is a lot of data, intelligent data model goes in, which understands from your data, which works more in a proactive way to help you or guide you that this is what is not going right. This is what you need to do. And still you will have, in terms of automation, the thresholds which you can set, right? So even if you are not proactive in your business, but still you will not, if you will control the bleeding part of your money, right? Because you have set those rules or those automation part which will take those necessary actions whenever it hits. So this is the complete bundle where you can look at the product portfolio audits, your advertising strategy, your promotional strategy, right? Whether giving $10 as a discount, or bidding additional couple of cents on the keywords, which strategy work best, right? And increasing your brand engagement, your brand awareness. So how effective is your, let's say, sponsored product ads versus sponsored brand ads, right? And measuring those key metrics. So that's all goes into this complete suite where you look. It's like some 10, 12 different features in the bucket where we have put them. And in this process, we have worked with, I would say, with thousands of sellers who are more than $1 million, right? And one good thing which we do is that we talk with them and we understand the problems and what next they are looking for in their business goals, in their optimization. optimization part, right? And these are our seller app customer clientele. It falls from a seller who is making a couple of $1,000s to $1 million in a month. And there are the different agencies, different big sellers. If you look at Bain Capital, Waymaker, ADOP, Reynolds Marketing, Quantum Networks, right? And if you look at the mid-sized sellers, Ticino, your Bora Potamate, your trade. So all of that it's a bouquet of different type of sellers falling into the different problem statements, and we try to solve the problems, right? And that's what we do, right? And this is what our customer says. It's mostly the interactions which we do and the feedback which we get. We make sure that the problem is solved, right? And it can be from the space where we can directly help, or if it's required, we go above and beyond, and we talk to the people in this domain and help them to figure out those problems and fix those parts. Right. Now coming back to today's thing, sorry if I have taken a couple of more minutes on those slides, but those are core to me and I love talking about them, right? So product sourcing. So initially when I mentioned that it's one of the puzzle of this, it's one of the piece of the puzzle of this, your successful Amazon journey, right? And the key metrics is when we talk to the people, it's the profitability part, right? So, and if they are not able to source the product at a right price, that can be one of the concerns. So, and what are the factors which derives let's sourcing product at a right price? So if they go to, let's say, traders versus wholesalers, what is the difference? Manufacturers versus traders, right? So if you go to traders, obviously your prices will be high because manufacturers can control the quality and the raw material prices, right? So all of these are the problems which we have seen, and the criterias which if you do right, you will be successful. If you do any of these wrong, there are high chances that your businesses will have losses and can lead to, like, I would not say, but it can lead to the failures as well. Right. So let's quickly look at the general psychology or general the product search which happens in directly or indirectly on Amazon and on the person's mind as well. Right. So we go to Alibaba, we search for something, we get the list of the product and the suppliers, right? And then there are a lot of filters on Alibaba which you can use, like trade assurance, whether it's a SS supplier, whether it's a gold supplier. Then there are different criteria, the number of years he is into it. Then you will drill down to the few set of suppliers. And probably from those few set of suppliers, you have to then go and reach out, talk to in terms of minimum order quantity or what you want, right? How much time that will take, whether these products are easily shippable or not, how much will be your logistics cost in terms of from the destination where their factories is to the port areas, right? All of that. And so let me quickly move to our dashboard. I feel still you guys can see the screen. So this is one of the free tools which we have on our website. So the way it works is that we have integrated directly with Alibaba, and it works on the basis of the key phrases which you enter in the search bar. And once you enter in the search bar, we look at those patterns. We find the best curated list of the suppliers, and that's what you get back. Let me just search for, let's say, wine tumblers. Right, let's see what it comes. It's loading. There you go. Right. So if you look at, these are the different products which you can look for in terms of wine tumblers. And then there are different categories which you can further drill down: wine tumblers with lid, without lid, if you are looking for a specific product quality, right? And these are the initial set of the suppliers with the minimum order quantities, with the different type of the product, the supplier details. And if you want to further go and dive deep into all of that, you can look for our sourcing feature on the dashboard. So let me just so what additional you get when you log into the platform and start using these features, right? So we know which type of users you are, what is your behavior in terms of your, let's say, previous minimum order quantities, what you are searching for, what is the product you are looking at, let's say our product research feature or the product ideas feature. And we curate this again. So this is more of a curated list based on your past experiences and the behavior on the platform, right? And you get these list of suppliers, And further, to make it simpler, you can use these filters like product type, whether it's trade assured or not, right? So while this process, I got a lot of questions about trade assurance. So I think that can be one point which JP can expand on and explain to the users that how trade assurance help, right? So let's say if I set this filter, I will only get from that bucket of curated suppliers for you. You get the suppliers only with the trade assurance, right? And further, if you want to dig deep and understand the type of a supplier, so again, I don't know how many of you know, but the supplier name has its location, the type of the company name, and which type of product they sell. So it's Sichuan is a district, or it's the place in China where the supplier is located, and then it's the name shows that what is the location, right? And then there are the different criterias like how much is the sales he has made so far, what is the minimum order quantity, what is the company size, right? So you can do further filtering on top of it, and it's still so one interesting thing with which you get additional with this, right? So on Alibaba, if you don't get the right supplier for the type of product you are looking for, you can always raise the RFQs, right? So what you have to do is you just need to click on this. It will take you to the Alibaba, exactly to that supplier, and you can float the RFQs, right? So there will be the different supplier which will bid for those RFQs, and will you can get the different quotations in terms of minimum order quantity, and you can place the orders, right? And Alibaba, in this whole process of RFQs and in the trade assurance, Alibaba will be always there to help you and guide you, right? So if there is conflicts, if there is in terms of trade assurance, you can always claim back if the quality is not good or if the product is not shipped on time, right? So always Alibaba will be the mediator in between. Uh, will uh, will look at the what are the issues and try to resolve in the right way, right? And the interesting thing which I want to just walk you through is this part, right? So how it works is, let's say if you have a thought that okay, I want to sell something, right? And you go to Amazon.com and search for that particular thing, right? So in this case, let's say if it's a wine tumbler, so you search for wine tumbler, you get a list of product, right? And using SellerApp extension, what you can get is you can get the each and individual detail about that particular all the products on that page, how much is their rating, reviews, PSRs, what is the estimated revenue they are making per day, right? And what is the potential? So if you look at all of these, wine tumblers are somewhere making 200 odd or 250 odd orders per day, and the potential is minimum, right? So definitely this is the interesting niche where you can start selling, and just on a click of button you will get a suppliers from where you can source, right? So let's say if I click on this, it expands and it shows me the top 3 suppliers for that particular product, right? And if you are looking, so again, so one interesting thing is it's individually based on the product. So let's say if you want to go with a specific material, tumblers, right? Wine tumblers or wine tumblers with lid. So if you click on that, it will take you only to the top 3 suppliers for that product, right? And if you, let's say, if you further down in this list, if you go and look for maybe something like this, right? So cooling cup, which works both as a wine tumbler plus a cooling cup. So you will get the top 3 suppliers for that, right? And definitely there is always an option. You can go and explore more on Alibaba directly. But this saves a lot of your time to go individually on Alibaba, look for those type of product, filter the suppliers. So the previous slide, which I was talking about. So if you look at this particular one, right? So where you look for the product, you look for the suppliers, then you set those filters, right? And then you go and negotiate, and there are different as process. After that, there is a lot of process. So until you end up finding ideal supplier, there is a lot of process. And using SellerApp and this partnership, it reduces a lot of that time. You get a curated list of suppliers where it's always for you. It's just one click of thing. You can go and talk to these people, right? If you don't find a right supplier, RFQs and the other processes are always there, right? And that is what I have as a demo, right? So these are the other part of the package of the services. Once you find the right supplier, how you can make sure that your business is growing and you are successful. right? So which involve a lot of things like product intelligence, your market research, your optimization of the listings and the SEO, your profitability calculations, how many units you should order and how many units you should ship it to FBA warehouses. What is the sales velocity? How much probably if you are ordering more, how much you have to pay in long-term storage fees, your ads optimization, getting better ROIs, right? And then further a lot of things on top of it, like your buy box monitoring, your price monitoring, your rating review. So you always have to be proactive in the business. So all sort of things which are required to be that proactive sellers, so that you excel and make more money and be successful in the business. So that's from my side. I think, Ria, are we going to take the questions at the end, or do you
Yes,
have
we
anything?
are. Yeah. So thank you so much, Brij, for that
Oh,
amazing presentation. And I was just understanding, and in my head, I was like, this is so important, especially now when we have COVID hit us, and there are already so many horror stories of sellers getting scammed by some of their suppliers, and that's why SellerApp was so determined on collaborating with Alibaba, because when you're Alibaba assured, you know that you're safe, and especially in this climate, this is so important. So, JP, I have a question for you. We will also take the questions in the comment section in a bit before we move to your presentation. But I have one question for you. How is Alibaba certifying these, agents as Alibaba certified? So, what's the process there that you take up to make sure that our sourcing is done without getting scammed, basically? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point to kind of raise. And on the Alibaba platform, we have thousands of sellers, and it's sort of very difficult if you're a first-time buyer trying to figure out which supplier to source from. And the one thing that we really offer is Alibaba.com Trade Assurance. It's our payment protection service, and it works to ensure that you have three things. So a convenient way to pay for the goods you're sourcing, gives you payment security to ensure that your payment is tracked and to ensure that it gets to the supplier and there's a record of the payment. And then there's extended support in terms of any sort of mediation in the event that a refund is needed due to issues tied to product quality or any sort of issues tied to the production of this order that's been placed by the buyer. So those are the things that we offer, and any buyer who has any supplier who offers trade assurance will have a badge attached to their profile. So you can also filter for the suppliers that offer trade assurance and source from them. And then over time, as long as you build a good sort of supplier relationship, you can then you can determine whether trade assurance is needed for all your following orders. But for the very first order when you're sourcing, it's definitely good to make the most of Alibaba.com trade assurance.
Yep, and there you go. I mean, when you're sourcing, first thing that you need is how sourcing should be easy. We took care of that, and sourcing should be safe. Alibaba took care of that. So I think this is a perfect partnership. And we have a really interesting question that I quickly want to address. So we have a question that says, what is the difference between searching suppliers on Alibaba directly and SellerApp? So let me start the answer by saying that SellerApp has partnered with Alibaba. So you are using our tool, which will take you to Alibaba's website, and that's where you can see our product. So we are working together. We're not working separately. It's just we are like two hands when it comes to sourcing, right and left. So I hope that answered your question. And I think it's also time for us to move on to your presentation, JP.
Wonderful. So just waiting for the screen to be shared and looking forward to walking you all through what Alibaba.com can offer all of you.
Yep. So JP right now is going to talk about how you can grow your business using Alibaba. So sourcing is not something that only beginner sellers use, right? So if you're already, if this Q4 was amazing for you and you're thinking like, man, I can do this with more products, watch this. We'll see how you can expand your business. All right, JP, your presentation is ready, and I'm now sharing my screen.
Awesome. Great. So excited to walk you all through how you can grow your business using Alibaba.com. So I'll start with a quick intro. I'm JP. I work on the supply chain team at Alibaba.com North America. And I've been focused mainly on enhancing the range of services that we offer in terms of supply chain and logistics. Prior to joining Alibaba, I used to work at Flexport, and I also worked in e-commerce with Jumia Group in Southern Africa. So what is Alibaba.com? I think the one thing that a lot of people have is a range of varying questions. And if we can go back to the following slide, we just want to play a quick video that can show you what the site is. So the video will just be a quick 45-second overview. And at the very bottom of the screen, you can be able to see what the video looks like. Just 1 second, get the video going.
While we're getting the video ready, I think we can take one question from the comment box. And the question states that, okay, hi guys, my question is white label or private label, which one is more profitable? So hi, Harry, welcome to SellerApp and Alibaba's webinar on sourcing. So white label or private label? JP, do you want to take this question?
I think this just varies based on your own sort of strategy, whether you want to brand your products. If you want to brand your products and put your own logo, have your own marketing type that you're going to do the private label, the white label, where the goods are unbranded and they come to you logo free. And if you're going to sort of market under a different brand, then you probably do private label. So this depends on who's going to be owning the marketing spend, the marketing strategy, and also just the brand expansion. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the presentation. We're going to skip the video, and
all right.
The content of the video is going to be covered in the slides, and it's still going to be able to give you all the information that you need to source on Alibaba. So moving on to our next slide here, when we're talking more about what Alibaba is. So Alibaba.com is the world's premier global B2B e-commerce marketplace. It was founded in 1999, was Alibaba Group's first business unit. And the one thing that Alibaba.com set out to do back in 1999, it's doing 21 years later, is to function as an online trade show that is open every day, 24/7, 365. Where sellers can connect with buyers both domestically and globally. And when we think about that, it's that's a very powerful thing. You don't have to get on a plane and go visit your supplier in China or in India or Vietnam. You can get online on Alibaba.com and make those connections happen. One thing to also keep in mind, we have been named the best B2B website in the world by Forbes magazine 8 times in a row. So if that's that's something to kind of think about as well. So Alibaba.com covers every step in the global e-commerce journey. What does that actually mean? It allows you to have everything from access to product listings. You can see company profiles. You can search for the different products you're looking to source for. You can also have access to a range of communication tools that allow you to obtain real-time translation. So if you're messaging with a supplier who speaks Chinese or Vietnamese, you can message them in English and they will reply back in English to you. So that's very, very sort of seamless communication. You can also use our RFQ tool where you can request for a quotation. And we offer payment and order protection using our trade assurance program. We offer financing with our payment terms program. And then our Alibaba.com Freight is our logistics solution option for folks who are doing bulk sourcing. And we also offer an air express service for smaller parcels. So let's talk about what's on Alibaba.com. We have 160,000 global suppliers from all around the world, primarily from China and a number of other sourcing markets in Asia, Vietnam, and India. We have 60 million active buyers across industries. And we have folks who are accessing the site from about 190 plus countries. And there are 300,000 inquiries from buyers to sellers on the platform. So we have a quick overview of sort of the top products in terms of supply. So most of our Chinese suppliers are in the consumer electronics and machinery space. In the US, we have suppliers that are in food and beverage and nutrition and supplements. India, jewelry. Italy, food and beverage. In Vietnam, we have furniture and gifts and crafts. And then in terms of buyers, most of the buyers who go to Alibaba.com to source are from the US, Australia, and Canada. And then you can see there's a range of buyers coming from different places. All buyers from Mexico, folks from Japan, and this is a platform that serves buyers from all around the world. So what do these buyers buy when they're on Alibaba.com? Folks who are looking to source on Alibaba are looking to do a couple of different things. They want to obtain inputs that are tied to perhaps their own manufacturing process, or they're looking to find white label goods that they can brand with their own logo and resell in their home market. Also looking for probably access to business supplies that they can purchase on a regular basis for their ongoing operations. Or they're also looking for options to get access to more supply that is at a cheaper price that allows them to improve their margins. Just really quickly on the right, there's a quick quote from an Alibaba.com buyer based in the US called My Family Business. And the buyer says, I like to use the different features on Alibaba.com because it allows me to do business faster and easier. What we're looking to do is be an ally for both our buyers and sellers to make sure that they can transact in a way that is seamless. So let's move forward to talk about value-added services that are available in Alibaba. We have payment protection, we have inbuilt logistics, payment terms, and consultative sourcing support. So the sourcing support is tied to a range of services that we offer, primarily Alibaba.com Select, where it's a landing page where you can get access to selected suppliers and products that Alibaba has looked at as growth categories. So if you go to our homepage today, you can just click on Alibaba.com Select and find that information. We can move on to talk more about trade assurance. I talked more about this earlier. It offers three things, as mentioned: convenient payment options, a range of different payment options available for folks who are sourcing. Payment security, you can track your payment. You can see when the payment was made, when it was received by the supplier. And then extended support in the event that there's need for mediation due to a refund request. So digging a little deeper into Alibaba.com Freight, we offer a fully digitized quoting and booking management experience for folks who are looking to source primarily from China and Vietnam and import into the US, Canada, Germany, the UK, France, and Spain. And what we offer is a marketplace where you can instantly compare booking quotes for ocean LCL, ocean FCL, and air freight from 12 different freight forwarders. So it's a marketplace where you can go in and see what is the market rate and how does that vary between these 12 different providers. We also offer end-to-end visibility tracking on Alibaba.com Freight. And it's a service that I think a lot of users will find a lot of use for, especially when you're looking to source cross-border. Moving on to talk more about payment terms. We offer a service that allows buyers to pay for orders up to 60 days after receiving the invoice. There are no hidden fees, and it allows businesses to have an improved cash flow. So if you're able to source and you're able to then take 60 days to pay your invoice, that's definitely good for your cash flow. And you're able to have access to all your invoices in one place and be able to manage them in one account. So moving on to talk more about our buyers' experiences. We have three just quick case studies here. We have someone in the beauty space, Babs Beauty. We have someone who's involved in private label, and then also someone else who's sort of in the kind of sports and recreation categories. But just a quick theme that ties these three buyer experiences is how they found using Alibaba to be simple, transparent, and intuitive in some sense. There are folks who, in the case of Wake 10, this was a first-time importer who was looking to source goods in Alibaba and was able to find them fairly easily. So moving forward to talk more about the other services that are tied to Alibaba. How does one source on Alibaba? They're going to be a couple of different steps. First, it's the discovery phase. You have to find the products and suppliers that fit your business need. That means you're evaluating their different options. Some items might be customized. You might need to negotiate with your buyer with your supplier to customize the goods themselves, and then others will be ready to be shipped. Then you connect to the supplier, message with them. As I mentioned before, there's a messaging tool that allows for real-time translation. You can send your inquiries. And then we also have online trade shows on a semi-monthly basis where you can have access to trade shows online where you're able to interact with suppliers. You can then go forward and place your order once you have confidence in the supplier and the quality of the products provided. You can look at all the reviews. You can also request for samples. If you request for a sample, that'll probably be 1 unit, and that can be sent over to you directly by an air express parcel service, and you can get a sense of what the product will be. Then payment, we have a range of options in shipping and logistics, as mentioned earlier. That is available for folks who are sourcing both large and small orders. And so the last thing I want to kind of talk more about is a new program that we're launching. And this program is focused on large buyers, and we call them pro buyers. So we have a pro buyer program for the biggest buyers on the platform. And we're offering right now a range of services that would allow you as a buyer on the Alibaba platform looking to source to have access to more events and enhanced support in terms of customer service. You would also get a pro buyer badge, which enables you to be identified by suppliers as a large buyer that they should prioritize in their negotiations and communication. And then we'll be offering a $500 coupon for anyone who becomes a pro buyer and is based on the eligibility criteria. In terms of the eligibility criteria, we're just looking for folks who have engaged in online transactions that exceed $300,000 in the past year, or have a company annual revenue that exceeds $1 million. So that is a program that is new. We are offering that to buyers, and again, it comes at no cost. All that it requires is just one to transact on the platform and make the most of the Alibaba.com experience. So I just want to thank you all for your time on the webinar today, and open to all your questions.
Yep, so we'll be taking questions now. So how this is going to work is, if you have any questions relating to sourcing, those questions will be answered first. And if your question is not related to sourcing and it's related to, let's say, anything other than sourcing related to your Amazon journey, perhaps, you can send it to us on support@SellerApp.com and we will get back to you. So we have questions for Alibaba separately and SellerApp separately, and then we have questions on sourcing. So let's start with SellerApp first. So we have a question by Vivek right here. And Vivek says, if I'm using SellerApp, would this help me in maintaining my product inventory? And can also SellerApp help me in predicting future market trends? So Brij, this question is for you.
Sure, definitely. A very good question, Vivek. So if you look at when you start using SellerApp, right? So there is 2 ways you can understand the trend. One is that how is your market trend? That is the category wide or subcategory wide which you are looking at. So it shows that what is the growth there, right? And the second part of it is when you look at your own inventory and own products. So looking at your past data, we can analyze and we can give you the trends that what is expected in the near future, right? So both of this helps you to understand the market better and give you the trend and predictability in terms of the revenue and the order you can expect.
Perfect. And for next question, it's for Alibaba and it's by Anthony. So hi, Anthony. How would I know if the product I choose is being saturated? Is there a way to identify them, or is this a tool that Alibaba uses? So questions for you.
Yeah, I think one thing to keep in mind here is that understanding whether a category is very popular or whether it's oversubscribed or whether there are a lot of folks sourcing in that category, it's just going to be tied to a lot of market research. The one thing that Alibaba does provide is a range of options in terms of the different types of products that you can source. But we essentially rely on folks who come in terms of their own sourcing with prior knowledge about the categories that they want to grow and expand. So that is something that I think it would require both anyone who's looking to source to understand where they could think to grow their business in the future.
Yeah, and for the next question is a question that we get quite a lot in Seller App as well. So we've seen an increase in electronics being sold on Amazon. So is it possible to get express freight codes if my item contains battery? I'm concerned about how it works when my products are considered dangerous if they have batteries. So I think JP can take this question up again.
Yes, so I think this is one thing that is really important. So if you are looking to source any products that are deemed hazardous in any way, they might have lithium-ion batteries, typically your supplier will have to give you a range of certifications. And one of the key sort of certifications you need to have is a material safety data sheet. It's an MSDS. That sheet essentially proves that the batteries themselves are not dangerous, that they have already been tested. And so you'll need to have some certification that shows your shipment can be shipped safely. It will also depend on how many of these sort of products you're looking to source at one time. If you're looking to source a smaller amount, easy to get those quotes done. If it's sort of a larger amount, what you will need to provide before you get a quote is the material safety data sheet in advance in order for the quoting to then proceed.
Yep, and I think we're gonna take like a break from the questions right now because there's something really important I want to talk to you guys about. So, I mean, once sourcing is done and once you have your product, we know that sourcing does not end there. We have to maintain a really healthy relationship with your supplier. So, let's take some tips and tricks from Brij and JP on how you can maintain a healthy relationship with your supplier and how you do not get your relationship building wrong. So, let's start with Brij.
Sure. So that's a very important part of any relationship, right? When you talk about the business relationship, that how you start your first interaction and how you proceed with it. Right? So again, it's the same thing applies here as well. When you look at the sourcing part, when you find the right supplier, so it's not just about getting your shipment once, right? So if you get a right supplier, right product, right quality at the right price, definitely you are bound to be with those people and to be in a continuous engagement, right? So it's just like it's a two-way communication that your supplier has to keep you updated once you place the order that okay you are how many units has been made, inspection has been done, whether it's packed, shipped, all of them, right? And once it's received from your side, it's more that okay because you want to be in touch. So next order allotment, how much units you will be required, and how much time you have for those things, right? So everything is a part of that same funnel, and it helps in a way that if you keep each other updated, right? And I think maybe JP looks at the has more insights about the other side. Probably he can give you more information on that part.
Yeah, so before JP, talks about his experience, I was recently talking to one of my friends who is into sourcing as well, and she told me that most of the sellers do not understand that the relationship building is a very important aspect of sourcing as well. So many sellers request the sourcing agent to pay for their customization. So if your product requires any customizations, you need to keep in mind that your sourcing agent is not going to pay for the customization. So small things like this can hinder your relationship with your supplier. So JP, what according to you will help sellers build a relationship with their suppliers, especially right now, because I'm sure that face-to-face interaction is not possible. So how do you maintain a healthy relationship over phones with your supplier?
Okay. I think three things to keep in mind are, one, you need to understand both your responsibilities as a buyer and those of your supplier. So that's tied to maybe the Incoterms that you're sourcing under, and understanding what those Incoterms are, whether it's FOB, Ex-Works, it allows you to understand the responsibilities and where the supplier hands off the goods to you and when you're responsible for them. Second thing to think about is also customs clearance. So the goods you're looking to source, to be able to have information on whether your goods will clear customs once they arrive in your country of destination. For example, products that are tied to sort of dietary supplements, anything tied to food, anything tied to sort of hazardous items, anything containing batteries, you need to have additional certification and have that information in advance of the goods arriving in your country of destination. Then the last thing is to just make sure that you're clear in terms of your communication with the supplier. Sometimes suppliers are overwhelmed with many requests. Keep communicating with them, give them as much information as possible, and find ways to help them also understand what your true needs are, and have them understand that you should be prioritized in terms of how they think about the order you're trying to make, especially the first time around. If a supplier doesn't reply in 24 hours, you should definitely follow up and make sure that you establish an expectation that communication is seamless and frequent.
Yeah, and this is super important. And, just small things like, asking them how their family is doing and wishing them on Christmas and all the holidays will also help you build your relationship with suppliers. All right. So before we end the session, we are going to take 2 last questions. So if you have any more questions, you can definitely just email us and we will get back to you right away. And for the last 2 questions, the first one is, oh wait, did we already cover this? Oh no, we have not covered this. So does Alibaba Trade Insurance cover my inventory when the freight forward is shipping? And is there anything that I need to specify before the order is placed?
Yes, so Alibaba Trade Insurance is also extended to any orders that are handled by a freight forwarder that's tied to Alibaba.com Freight, or freight forwarder that's tied to the supplier or the buyer. So you don't necessarily have to specify whether you have a trade assurance order explicitly. It's going to be an option in the checkout flow. So you're going to be able to, one, see whether the supplier is offering trade assurance and whether they're trade assurance certified. And then based on that, you'll then be able to go through the checkout experience and select trade assurance as an option. And so there's a lot of good content on the Alibaba.com site that allows folks to learn about trade assurance and understand its benefits and understand how to select suppliers that offer trade assurance as an option for their buyers.
All right, and for our last question, let's talk about codes, because I think that's really important for us to cover as well. So could you help me with the best practices that I need to follow while requesting a quote? So I think one thing that you need to avoid is bargaining. I mean, you need to understand that, especially, I don't want to be stereotypical, but when it comes to Indians, we love bargaining. But we need to understand that there's a place and time that you need to stop bargaining, because I've seen a lot of sellers make this mistake, they over bargain, and that's how you lose your supplier. So respect your supplier, and I think JP is going to answer the rest of the question.
Yeah, I think one really, really important best practice is, if you're looking to get a quote, have a clear sense of when you need the goods, and also how many units you're looking to order once you complete your transaction. So you might not necessarily have that information at the beginning, but when you're looking to request a quote, definitely have a clear sense of your own timeline, how quickly you need the goods. Also, make sure you have an understanding as to whether you want to offer goods that are customized in nature, that might take longer to get them customized, whether you're just going to be ordering goods that are non-customized and are easier to ship out. Then the last thing I'll also mention here is, especially if you're a first-time buyer who's looking to source, make sure that you share as much information about the order you're looking to place. That is something that I cannot stress enough. You should not assume that the supplier will provide you with the information that you need to make a decision. Come to the conversation with all the information that you have at hand. As I mentioned again, having a clear estimate of what you want to source, when you want it, and how many units you're looking to source. And the last thing I'll mention is, keep in mind the supplier's minimum order quantity requirement. MOQs is something that suppliers will list on their profiles. So just keep in mind what MOQs they might have.
Yep, and I think that was answered perfectly. So before we end the session, there's some things that I want to talk about. So before ending, I want to ask both of you things that you, Alibaba and SellerApp, are planning to do to make sellers' life easier in 2021. So Brij, starting with you, how is SellerApp going to help sellers in 2021?
Right, that's an interesting ask, right? So if you look at the part of our collaboration, this is the first phase, right? So where we are helping sellers to get the curated list of suppliers. So in terms of product pipeline, what we want to do based on the feedback which we got from the people and in our uh, uh, based on this feature specifically for the sourcing, right? So what we are looking at to have more integrations with the different features where it is going to have. So I talked about that we have a feature in terms of predictability of your inventory. So let's say if your inventory is to get over by next month, we will give you those notifications and the alerts so that you can place the orders, right? And again, your orders placing is again based on your relationship with these suppliers which you are working with, right? So probably if you look at the Christmas holidays, right? So in rest of the world, the Christmas holidays and New Year's are at a different time, but Chinese New Year's are celebrated at a different time, right? So this gives you more of an heads up in terms of, okay, your inventory is about to over. If you have to accommodate some kind of delays or some holidays, if you have to consider, all of that will be part of these integrations which we will follow in this journey of making sourcing easy to our customers.
Sorry, wonderful. Sounds exciting. Coming to you, JP, how is Alibaba looking forward to helping sellers in 2021?
So one thing that we are going to be launching is more trade lane coverage for our Alibaba.com freight solution. So we'll be expanding into new markets. And we're also looking to make sure that we can provide more and more information to folks who are looking to source. So we'll be launching a sourcing info platform that's kind of tied to buyers, Alibaba.com buyers. We call it Buyer Central. We'll be launching in the first quarter of 2021, where if you're a buyer, you can go and get more information on some sourcing trends or just tips and tricks as to how to make your Alibaba.com experience a lot more seamless.
Perfect. So there you go. This is Sourcing Made Easy by SellerApp and Alibaba. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. And I request everyone right now to go to SellerApp's website and check out a free tool. I mean, you're missing out if you're not checking it out. And you'll see for yourself how user-friendly it is and different from all the other tools out there. And of course, Alibaba is the best at what they do, which is sourcing. So I think this is a perfect collaboration that SellerApp's done with Alibaba. I hope everyone has a great Christmas, and I hope everyone has a great quarter. I mean, Chinese New Year is coming up, so I advise everyone to go search for suppliers who are giving great discounts for Chinese New Year. So yes, I will see you all soon, and thank you so much JP and Brij for being here, and I will see you all later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, JP. Thanks, everyone.